start it. So could you please tell us your name and the official name of your building on the City of Salmon Arm's Heritage Register?
Hi, my name is Bernd Hermanski, and the building we're talking about is the Sinclair House from 1902 to 1904.
Mm-hmm. And you are the owner?
I am.
And how long have you been associated with the property?
9 years.
What initially drew you to the property?
Just the beauty of the property and the location within the community and the charming nature of the Heritage House. So when you say how long have I been associated with it, I bought it 9 years ago, but 35 years ago, shortly after first moving to Salmon Arm, I came and knocked on the door to see if they would sell it. But I was told very emphatically it was not for sale at that time. And then I kind of gave up on it for many years, but I noticed driving by 9 years ago that there was a little for sale sign on the telephone pole. So that's when I called the number on the sign, and a week later I owned it.
Worth the wait?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived in a beautiful place in the meantime.
What changes, if any, have you made to the house or property?
I have completely gutted the house down to the bare studs and modernized all aspects, such as adding indoor plumbing, adding new wiring, new plumbing, insulation, and a new heating system. Mm-hmm. And refinished the original wood floor. I have refinished all the other surfaces with new materials, new drywall, new wainscoting, new ceilings. The exterior is pretty much original, except I have repainted it all. I've replaced all the windows. I added a few windows. I added some French doors. I added a deck where there was none. Other than that, it's pretty original.
An extensive list. A new staircase.
One new staircase. I've completely changed the basement, made an interior access to it for one thing, added stairs, and then also dug down what was the dirt floor when I bought the house, dug it down about 16 inches and put in a new concrete slab and jacked up the middle of the house, which had sagged a little bit. So I brought in a building mover with a big steel beam and some hydraulic jacks, and we jacked up that middle section by about 1.5 inches, because you could really feel it on the main floor that it had sagged a bit over the years, but now it's fine. The original stone foundation, I checked it with my laser, and it was within 1/2 inch of being level. So that's amazing for 120 years.
Mm-hmm. What words of wisdom would you like to share with people thinking about taking on a building like yours?
Well, in my business as an architect, when people are doing renovations, we always advise them to take their worst estimate of what it's going to cost and how long it's going to take, and then double that. And then they'll be getting close to what it actually costs and how long it will actually take. Those are my words of wisdom. Expect to find things that you weren't maybe counting on, things that you either couldn't see behind the walls that you now need to fix, or things that you decide, well, while I'm at it, I might as well go this step further and do it right. And all of that can add up to more time and more money.
Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of experience, obviously, with construction and houses. What was the most unexpected thing coming into this house for you?
Unexpected. There were very, very few bad surprises, I would say, in this case. I mean, I had a careful look at it before I bought it, so I knew what I was getting myself into. The 300 bats in the attic were probably the biggest surprise, actually. And they're fine. I'm happy to have them because I have 0 mosquitoes and very few other bugs because of my collection of bats. And they're here for a very short time in the summer, and they're kind of a novelty act. So at first I was trying to exclude them, but then I got to be fond of them. And they're kind of a nice conversational topic.
For sure. And if you had one word to describe your home, what would it be?
Well, I think of it as being very lovely. You know, it's just lovely. It was, they were able, back in 1902, there were very few other properties built by Westerners, you know, that were new to the area. That railway came through in 1886. So we're talking only 16 years after Europeans first even arrived in this area, and so not that long. So mostly it was very undeveloped land around. These people the Sinclairs were able to get a quarter section of land, half a mile by half a mile, 640 acres. 160 acres, quarter section, and they chose the very best setting for this house. So there was an article in a 1906 paper in Enderby that said this was the nicest, biggest house that was actually finished north of Vernon. So it's got that going for it.
Lovely.
It is lovely. I think it's lovely.
Mm-hmm. I would say there's a lot of white, but it still feels very warm to me and welcoming.
Well, that's good.
I feel like white.
There is a lot of white, but the wooden floor, the natural wood floor, some of my wood finished furniture, the original wooden stair that I haven't touched, those things all I think help warm it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Why is everything white? It certainly originally I don't think it would have all been white. In fact, in some cases I had to peel 3 or 4 layers of wallpaper off surfaces. Although for the most part I just pulled the entire lath and plaster off and threw everything, including the wallpaper, into the dumpster to be able to insulate and wire and refinish. Mm-hmm. But I'm just a fan of white.
Mm-hmm.
To me, most buildings are kind of like the art gallery that you then install the art into, right? So just plain white is fine. Mm-hmm. And I have had a friend say, anything worth doing is worth doing white. Okay. You've probably heard that expression.
Never heard that one.
Usually has an R on it. It's Elmer Fudd saying anything worth doing is worth doing right. Mm. But in this case, it's worth doing white. So that's why it's white. I like white. I guess that's the bottom line.
I like white as well. It wasn't meant as a criticism.
I know.
Just an observation.
Right on.
Great. Well, I suppose that concludes the interview.
Okay.